So it's finished. Wolverhampton just 1, Burnley 0 at the end of a cold day at Molineux, even there today. A few quick points to go before we get into obviously anything else. Um, I think Burnley today, it was obviously a win for us, but I don't think the performance was great. That's why I want to go through some of this sort of stuff. I think Burnley pressed us really well at the start. Their key game plan was to obviously try and stifle us at the back. Can we try and get them to make mistakes? And I think it worked for them. In fairness, they tried to press us a lot. I caught a couple of times the ball, some ropey passes. The first 10-15 minutes, we were playing some shocking balls to each other. It's almost like we were trying to make sure we were making mistakes. Particularly some balls to Brennan had some terrible balls back to him. I thought he dealt with them okay in terms of that. But then in terms of that, I think we actually pressed really well ourselves. I think we put them under pressure. Burnley's back line weren't very good, and their goalkeepers, Old Trafford, in terms of on the ball, they were really poor. They could see the mistake coming from them, and then eventually the goal did come from that, but I'll go into that in a minute. I feel like we were really slow in possession today. There was some parts of the game where Milibina would get on the ball and you have no passes going forward, and then Semedo would get it, would go backwards. There were so many backwards passes today, which is okay in certain situations, but there was a lot of that today, which really sort of worrying really as a team where we knew we were going to have a lot of possession anyway. Joe Gomez, I think that was one of his worst games. It wasn't, not actually, he just didn't do much. He wasn't in it at all. I was calling for him at half time to be taken off, to bring Tommy Doyle on maybe, to get a bit of the tempo to be increased or sped up in midfield. And Gary Neal never did that. He never changed that, to be honest. I think that was something he needs to do. So that was a bit of a worry in terms of him. Dawson, man of the match for me. I know Max Kilman won it officially, but Dawson was class. Good on the ball again. So many important headers from the corners. Crosses come in, dealt with so many clearances. We are so much better when he's in the back line by a million miles. So that's quality from Dawson. But like I said before, a bit worried that Gary Neal didn't really change it. I think we got lucky to get the win in the end. We didn't play very well. And I think Burnley could have had... They didn't bring much in fairness. Better teams than Burnley would actually probably do more than they did. We'd probably lose games against better teams than them. From the way we played, didn't play well at all. It's just the pace of it, really. I think we mistake Nouri again because Breno's a little bit lacking a bit of confidence. Seemed like he can sometimes come across a bit negative. The ball will get played to him or Semedo, and then always come back inside. They come back across the halfway line. Then we'll come back to midfield and go come back across the back line. There was lots of those sort of stages of play where we couldn't seem to break the line. Now, the reason why he played Sarabia in the first place was trying to get Sarabia on the ball. Can we get Sarabia playing the ball in behind? Can we get the little passes? Which, in fairness, he had moments, Sarabia, where he did do that. He didn't do it enough for me, but I thought he did have good moments. He obviously did really well for the goal because he set the pressure point, the trigger point when he came out to the defender. He pressed it, won the ball back, put a nice little ball into Kuhn, and then Kuhn obviously played to Hwang for the goal. So it started with Sarabia's press, which was really good for him to see. What worries me a little bit today as well, I also think it shows you what he thinks of Kalinic and Silva. I think we were crying out at one point, particularly towards the end when we needed someone to try and play off, particularly Kalinic type player, when nothing was sticking, and never made the change. He brought Boubacar Traore on instead to try and play up front or play just behind the strikers to give us a bit more legs. That says a lot about what he thinks of the strikers, really. But a win's a win. It's a cold Tuesday night in Molineux. We'll see how we get on Wednesday. On Saturday. We need to get the next 3 points the weekend, try and get ourselves further and further up the stable, particularly away from the bottom three. But enjoy that on Wolves fans. That was a cold one today, and I'll catch you on the next one.
So it's finished Wolves 1, Burnley 0 in a bit of a weird game, I thought. I thought it was by no means our best performance. I think we've played worse and won, and we've definitely played better and lost. But it was a measured performance, a professional performance against a team off the back of a convincing 5-0 victory over Sheffield United. It was one that we needed to take control of the game, get a goal in the first half, and hopefully build on that from the second half. We did. I thought we did. I thought we were decent overall. I thought the patterns of play were generally quite good. There were a few standout performers today, Max Kilman being one of them. I thought Semedo was good, although he could have taken on Charlie Taylor more than he did, considering he was on a yellow, and there were opportunities there. But I thought, Max Kilman was very good. Obviously, Hwang Hee-Chan, excellent, got his 8th goal, I think, at that for the season. So composed. It's the way he took that goal was it was of someone who has complete confidence in themselves in front of goal, and we've been missing that for years now, since Raul back in 1920, 2021. We've been missing someone who's potent in front of goal, punishes teams for mistakes that they've made, and that's what happened. We won the ball high up in a press, I thought, you know, the Burnley back four, James Trafford in goal, really, really shaky whenever they had someone, you know, pressing them. And we took full advantage of it, I think. And the way Chan took Tui's goal was excellent. We could have scored more for sure. I think we could have been much more aggressive. But to be honest, with the amount of games that we've got coming up, I'm not surprised that they took their foot off the gas a bit. I think if they'd have gone hell for leather against Burnley and have nothing left for Forest, you know, you don't want to be finding yourself in that situation. So I think it was professional. It was measured. I think Gary O'Neill got most of it right. I've got very little complaints overall. I'm not going to complain when we win a game. It's another win. It's another game, another win at home. And it's, I think, the 14th game that we've scored in consecutively. So it's another positive. We'll take that into Forest and hopefully we'll get 3 points against Forest because we don't like them. Cheers, boys.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but we got the 3 points. Burnley were a terrible team, fortunately, at times, because we did try our best to make it a little bit easy for them. Just thought everyone stood a little bit too far off, really. Every player defensively was 5-10 yards away from their man, and you thought if we just got a bit tighter, could have perhaps had a bit more of the game. But first half, I thought we had most of possession, didn't create anything really. But yeah, had most of possession, knocked it around okay, played ourselves into trouble a couple of times, but managed to kind of get away with it and get out of it. But then for the goal, we've pressured them up the pitch, which you thought we should have done a lot more really, because their back four and their goalkeeper were absolutely terrible on the ball, awful on the ball. So we really should have done better there and done that a lot more. But yeah, ultimately got the 3 points, which was all that really mattered. A little bit disappointing with how defensive we went at the end. I thought we dropped a bit too deep. Took Kuna off for Traore, which I thought was a very defensive move. But I suppose ultimately we've seen it out for the 3 points, which say is the main thing, and puts us on 18 and comfortably mid-table. So you'd have probably taken that at the beginning of the game, but it's not really sure what's going on with us at the moment. When we play the top teams, we seem to really up our game and be up for it, probably Arsenal aside. But you think of the City game, the Spurs performance, you know, the players really up for it and working for each other and working hard. Did seem to be a bit of a lack of effort today. Didn't move the ball quick enough, too slow on the ball, passes were too laboured, and just too much backwards and sideways. Even the fans were getting on the players' backs at one point today in a ironic cheer when Bentley pushed the players up the pitch to go long, because we just kept trying to pass it out from the back and it was all backwards and sideways, and we just kept playing ourselves in trouble. But I think the trouble is when we do go long, we don't have the physical presence up front. I mean, he started with Hwang, Kuna and Sarabia up front today, who I thought all played well. Hwang probably the worst of the bunch, but he got a goal, so you can't really complain, and it was a good finish and took it well with a lot of composure. But yeah, I just think we lack a bit of physical presence up front, so when we are going long, we're not winning those balls, which makes it tough. But let's say 3 points is the main thing, and on to Forest at the weekend.
Same, guys, it's finished. Wolves 1, Burnley 0, and at a very, very cold night in Molineux. Absolutely froze to death. But I tell you what, I'm just glad we got 3 points tonight. The performance from both sides was really poor. The fact that was a televised game is a little bit embarrassing. I can't see many highlights going out other than a save by Bentley and Hwang's goal. I literally can't think of anything else that happened in that game that was worthy of a televised game, which was a bit unfortunate, especially considering I haven't checked the score since, but at the time of recording, Arsenal 3, Luton 3 on the other channel, and you're just thinking, ooh, I wonder which one people are going to enjoy more. And I tell you what, being in the ground wasn't much better, I'll be honest. Sometimes you watch a game and you watch it on TV and you think, I don't remember us being that bad, you know, when you watch it live. But today, both teams were genuinely poor. And it really was just a case of get the 3 points and get the hell out of there and get back to bed. By the looks of most of our players, we look leggy, tired, not really up for it, to be honest. I'll be absolutely honest with you. If that game ends 0-0, I'd be fuming, to be fair, because yeah, okay, we huffed and puffed enough, but there's just not enough. And it does worry me for the upcoming games, you know, against opposition that, you know, are going to threaten us a lot more and pick a pass a bit better and are a lot more clinical in goal. It does worry me that we're not going to be equipped for that, because we looked very, very, very out of ideas at some points in that game, and yeah. But I'm not going to try and be too negative, because, as again, we got the 3 points. So that's pretty much the story of the game, really. The first half, you know, it was poor from both sides, really. I genuinely really poor. But we do get a goal. Hwang on the score sheet again. Lovely to see it. And you know, really buzzing for him and everything, and his form and everything. He's going to do him a world of good, scoring again, which is perfect. But other than that, that first half was dreadful. We didn't create anything else other than a very dodgy deflection that almost crept in underneath the bar. But other than that, we didn't create anything. Burnley didn't create anything either. But I gotta say, there was a cracking save. I think it was in the first half by Bentley. Brilliant save. A bit of it. I think it was 2 saves actually. There was one that was very close range. After Gomez loses the ball at the court by the corner flag, ball comes in. I don't know who's hit it, but it's literally hit Bentley in the torso, and from a very close angle. It's come back out to some other Burnley player, and he's give it a good whack, and it's going bottom corner, and Bentley does really well to get low and push it around his post. So that was really good to see. But like I said at the start, other than those 2 things, the first half was very drab. And you think you're coming out in the second, from both sides really, you know, Sheffield United put 5 against Burnley put 5 against Sheffield United, and you're thinking, you know, they're really battling, you know, down there, and you think, well, they're going to come out now and obviously see that we're a little bit, you know, half asleep. But they didn't come out, and neither did we. We were a bit better in the second, I've got to say. We were better in the second. I did notice a few changes from Gary O'Neill. I think he made it so that we were playing more as a back 4 when we were going in attack, but when we were sitting back, we were, you know, trying to soak up pressure. We were to a back 5 again, and that did work. To be fair, we did look better, but I've got to say, like, it was just very frustrating just to see so many times where we could just put the ball in the net and it's just passing, and it's so today was so negative in the way we played. I know I said I wasn't going to be negative, and I do feel like I am being overly negative, but it does worry me a little bit if that's how we're going to play at home against the lower opposition. I really think we need to put them to the sword more. I really think we need to, you know, push them more and be more aggressive, and because that's how we got the goal against Arsenal by being aggressive. Okay, we then got a goal today again by being aggressive. You know, our front 3 pushing up, creating a mistake. It goes from, I think it goes from Sarabia, it goes into Cunha. Cunha threads the ball into Hwang, and Hwang puts it in. And it's a good finish, to be fair. And if you want it to land to anyone, you want it to land to Hwang there, don't you? Because he's the only one who really knows where the back of the net is most of the time. So yeah, I don't want to be negative, guys. I'm really, really happy with the 3 points. But I just think when we're at home, when teams are sat back as much as they were, we need to just put him to the sword more. Stop going backwards, man. I know what we're trying to do. We're trying to create some gaps because they were really, really defensive. You know, they were a big unit to get through. And I do understand what we were trying to do, but sometimes I just think the ball was on, the pass was on. I just think that sometimes even you just try and beat your man. Do you know what I mean? And like if you're Semedo, he had him on toast on that side. I don't know most of the Burnley players, sorry, but Semedo had that player on toast, whoever who was marking him, and he just didn't do it enough. He did it once, and he put a good decent ball in and then won us a corner, and then he didn't do it again. And it's just a bit frustrating. Same with Hugo Bueno. I just think our wingers today were a little bit passive. But yeah, I'm going to stop being negative now. We've got 3 points. That's massive for us in the grand scheme of things, and it's job done, innit? That's that. At the end of the day, that's what it is. It's job done. We're on to the next one. I just want us to play a little bit better, guys. But honestly, buzzing for the 3 points. It's just not one of them matches you're going to watch back, is it? So yeah, thanks for having me on again, lads, and take it easy. Yeah, see you later.
Well, who said that we couldn't do it on a cold, wet, rainy Tuesday night? For many parts of the game, it actually looked like we couldn't do it. I don't think we ever really got out of second gear, if I'm being entirely honest. We created some chances throughout the entirety of the game. Surprisingly, actually, from set pieces, which is a new one. Usually our corners fail to be the first man, and they did it several times today. But it was nice to get the ball into some dangerous positions regardless. From those set pieces, from those dangerous free kicks, which for the most part I don't actually think were free kicks. I just think Jared Gillett tonight was incredibly kind to us for some reason. But it's nice that we don't have to talk about a penalty decision or a bad refereeing decision at the end of a game for once. Yeah, in general, I think we actually, it's not one of our best performances for sure. Defensively, I think we were actually pretty good. Again, the midfield of Lamina and João Gomez is just unreal. The energy that they bring, the roles that both of them can do, they interchange. I mean, Lamina can drop into the back five if he wants to. He's sort of that Ruben Neves pivot role, bringing the ball out from defence as well. He's just absolutely brilliant at that. And then he can also run down the other end of the pitch, burst into the box and score a goal. Exactly what you need in a box-to-box midfielder, but he's also an anchor, and he's also the heartbeat of the team. Did he deserve his yellow card today? Yeah, absolutely. And Lamina's pretty much a cert for a yellow card booking if you're a betting man. However, the midfield duo that we have is at least Europa Conference League level. I mean, Lamina is a bargain. João Gomez is a bargain. Yeah, it's these 5 to 10 to 50. I don't know how many times we're going to say it, but these 5 to 15 million pound players instead of the 45 million Mateus Nunes. We've not missed him at all. At all. I thought Sarabia did okay coming in today. He likes to turn back. He's obviously not got the pace that Hwang or Neto have, so he's never going to spin a defender and run in behind. And that can be a little bit frustrating sometimes when we're trying to counter-attack, when he tries to slow the play down. Same with Hugo Bueno, didn't really overlap today. Nelson Semedo did a whole lot of that, and I thought he was very, very good at controlling the field tilt today. So, defence, pretty good, especially Craig Dawson. Literally attacked everything that came his way, and pretty much there was no way past him. And I think even Kilman, bringing the ball out of defence as well today was really good. In the first sort of 1 minute of the game, I think he brought it out and earned them a yellow card, which I think he should do more of, to be fair, because he's got the ball ability, he's got the technical ability to dribble around, especially if Lamina can drop back into the back five. I think it's going to cause teams a whole lot of problems. You saw that when Sheffield United came up a couple of seasons back and they had an overlapping centre-back, and he caused a lot of problems, John Lundstrom, back in the day. So I think if Kilman could actually do that more, I think he would actually cause a lot of teams problems by bursting into their midfield and spraying the ball, because we know he's got a great left foot to switch the play, and that was on case, and that was on show tonight at several points. Again, I don't think we've ever had a winger as in form with goal scoring as Hwang tonight, and this season, because we've had Raul as a striker who's, you know, going to score goals pretty much every other game, and Neto's been also great over his period of time at the club without the injury troubles. but Hwang is scoring pretty much every game it feels like, and now he's joined out of the other 16 and only behind some of the elite goal scorers in the Premier League, which I think is fantastic. So our goal scoring troubles have gone out the window. I actually feel confident going into any game now that we're going to score. Even if we go behind, I think it's a great mentality as well to have. So I'm very, very happy. I thought Bellegarde was also good when he came on and was unlucky not to start, but I think Sarabia probably deserved his chance to start tonight, considering the performances that he's been providing off the bench. So although we didn't really get out of second gear, and I thought it was actually pretty much an average performance because we could have scored a lot more goals if we just were a little bit more direct with the play. I think my final point is I'm so glad we decided to abandon the playing out from the back about 20 minutes into the game, because we were causing ourselves so much trouble with Burnley's press. It was making it easy for them to create chances, and I'm so glad Gary O'Neill had the tactical nous to just abandon his plan and just go back to basics, because I think that's what won us the game in the end. So yeah, 3 points earned. If we can get another 3 points at home on the weekend against Forest, then yeah, I think that would be a brilliant way to start the festive period, and would pretty much secure us safe from relegation at that point, I would think. I feel like we've been looking over our shoulder for the last few games, and it's time to stop that. Let's look upwards instead. And it's not ruined my week.